You guys would not even believe this board that I'm looking at. I can't even believe I did that 2 months ago. It was such a it was just a state that came about, and God just put stuff through me I didn't even understand yet. Still don't fully understand it, but I'm getting there. We'll definitely be posting that one today. I need to review it and make sure I've got the right one. All right, so what was I going to say? The monster group, it's like 197 and then 88 something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 1 or 4, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Point is, inside the monster group, inside the monster group, monster symmetry dimensions, pretty sure because the whale, the possible configurations is astronomical. Now the point that I'm getting at is that the symmetries inside of here and inside that huge thing, they can form locally, but out here they cannot form, right? So this is just an example. So I'm not even giving you any specifics. I'm just giving you like the idea. So you have the symmetry group here that's connected through a few local symmetries, and all this stuff out here has to feed it in order for it to maintain, because it cannot connect through the roots. This is because there's no root structure. It's not rooted out. And what are the roots? The roots are back through the fractal trees all the way through to the outside where the density is the absolute highest. That's what that means. It means it's not there in that structure, but in the other symmetry groups, E8 and then the triple E8 and whatnot, that is. So that means, see, the leech is part of the monster group then. So then you got E8, I think it's the Neem or something group. That's 3 E8s. And then somehow this monster group is somehow out here on the outside where these interact. It kicks out the exhaust, and that becomes the monster group. And that pervades all this stuff, but it's all bounded somehow. Fuck. Or there's like a race. It's like a race to recover what's lost. And the nice thing is that's totally congruent with demethylating the global DNA so we can communicate with God. And what that really means is just we're freeing up our DNA to interface with reality through high degrees of pi electron repertoires in how we interpret the information passing through our body. And what the whole point of this little talk was about the strange attractors, the 421. I mean, it gets crazy, like really cool crazy when you get into it, because remember the 511 and the 66, or we'll call it down here 66, and that punches in there and then makes 5772166. Remember, this is like looking, I don't know. Anyways, calm down, Ethan. Well, it's waiting for the 1-1, right? Because 5 sliding down, right? Because this is 5. And the square root, that's the route. That's the square root right there. Okay, what's interesting is the 1-2 is here again, right? But the way I see it is the two G's, or the two T's, tyrosine, adenine, and then GGG, right? The way I see it, it's like a to the telomerase. This isn't perfect, but pi electrons do go there, and they do connect through cytosine. So it's not outrageous to think that. Anyways, Strange attractors, 2, 4, 2, 1. Oh, yes, that's why I saw that. Right, because what I was looking at, this is so cool. Oh, 45, 48, and 42. Remember how we were talking about stepping in this gap right here? If it's 3, and we're trying to compress in here, this is kind of like the vortex, right? So you got 7, 4, 2, 9. All this stuff's folding in here, trying to maximize the gamma. This is already a proven constant. This is already a proven constant. Yes, you can see the numbers, the group. Yes, intersection, all that stuff. The null color for the yellow, we use this as a laser, and it has exactly two angstroms. What is that? It's gamma. Come on. Yeah, strange attractors. So when you get into the strange attractor stuff, oh, I just deleted it. My bad. Anyways, 48, it may be that 3 is folding up, like this is like it's growth or something. Like it's growth right there, and then at the bottom, it's like the strange attractor, but it's still 3. See, look at that, 3, 3. That's probably the fucking up quark right there. See, the energy flows through the up quark, but it comes from the down quark. Somehow the 6, 6 is back here. 6, 6 is back here printing, tapping into the 5, 11. See, probably this right here, this is probably 1, 2. This right here is probably like the integration structure for pi and phi, right down the ring and critical line. Because it's the vortex of the churn, and it's a symmetry process, but it's already moving forward. So it's the asymmetrical impediments matching process, which is why it relates to the Penrose tilings and the hexagonal H3O2. Because this is like the sacrifice. The 2 water molecules come through, put up the sacrifice for the light to pass through and read what the fuck is going on. It's like light passes through here, you got a bunch of sacrifices, and whatever the readings are, you got to remember you're in structured water. You got a lot of refractions in that area. Hopefully, stable kryptons nearby being structured on the outside of the cell and coming out of the hydrocarbon stacks by the myelin because it's hydrophilic and hydrophobic and lipophilic. So it likes to hide inside of that dry area in the hydrocarbon stacks, and it also adds electrical, because it's diamagnetic and it's heavy, it adds electrostatic potential inside of the myelin to help communicate the various ideas from way across the place. It doesn't have to pass, it's sensitive to perturbation, which gives it back to that gyro radius idea, because as you have a more fundamentally fluid nervous system, then you have the capacity to be sensitive to the high because you have a higher electrostatic potential, producing more gamma hertz all the way through your body, and you're more integrated, and you have more ability to, like I talked about before, laminate the kinesis productivity. But this is really important. The reflections in the light increase the point source, increases the logarithmic average. You get more info with less space progress. Right here, you're going through these protons, checking for what's going down. What's going down is all these different refractions from across the place. It's literally looking through the atomic shell lattice. The electron clouds are being read throughout the surface area of the nervous system, because those refractions, remember, we're almost all air. We're literally just looking at we have been given the gift that DNA has figured out how to structure matter so that it will not die immediately and it can process information. And it may be that life is much more complicated than we think, and that our environment is way more aware of what's going on than we think, and animals are way, way fucking smarter than we think, and we've been committing some serious fucking wrongs. Thank God most of it is because of the placement that we have inside of civilizational history, and we really couldn't have done a whole lot different. And that's why the strange attractors are so important. The reason I was talking about the 2-1 thing is because 4-2-1, it makes it seem, it keeps doing the loop back. This is a famous math thing. And the reason that this is happening is it's very similar to that monster group symmetry idea that I had, that it was being fed. Well, think about Panksepp's drives. Panksepp's drives, Maslow's hierarchy, however you want to think about it, from basic living, and then sex, and like shelter right there, and then, relationships, reputation, and achievement, and then self-actualization. You're talking about an integrated system. My thing is, you don't need all that in order to start integrating your system right now. And my next thing is, the lie that we've been told is that you can't be integrated until you have all that. The reality is, you can integrate your life right now. You can start feeling good and feeling better and start doing different things and learning faster and becoming more productive and being everything that you want to be in the moment. And as you become better at that, then you become all those other things in the present moment. You start living your own manifestation. You start living your own excited life. It's like fucking ShamWow. What did he say on that fucking... the Dicer thing? Oh, Rick, I wish you were here. Oh, stop living a boring life. Stop. Fuck. Oh, God. Somebody put it up. Anyways, that's the reason. So the Panksepp's drives, there's like seek, rage and excitement and seeking and stuff. But the whole point is, throughout your body, it doesn't matter exactly what they are right now. I'm just trying to tell you, you have different sections of your body that run different things, from the drive to eat, to the need to feel relationships, to have a vagal integration, to have sex and satisfy that part of your drive. And they're part of your nervous system that have hormonal glands and have their entire own structures, and they can start to become way out of whack. So maybe you've got different things going on at different parts of your body. Maybe you got a pain, maybe you got a memory of some experience where somebody touched you on the shoulder, and at that time there's something else happened, some loud noise, or maybe your dog got hit or something. Maybe you got some other situation that happened to your back or to your leg or whatever. Those are all affecting how the information is running through your body, and they affect the cognitive processes and your affective readings of relative location to survival. The 2 Million Year Old Self is a great book. I like it. I don't agree with the guy every thought, but he frames it where we have 2 million years of evolution and we are looking through a sieve at survival. And basically he's saying the same thing. Anyways, we're looking through our bodies at it. We're looking through our bodies at survival. Survival is whatever the body is telling us it is. Okay? And then we have to learn, and then we have all these cool things, and this civilization has allowed us to increase the density of our effect over the environment, over the forces of nature. Now, we have to be responsible enough to actually wield those, because if not, evolution is going to put something in place for us that will do its best. Or, I don't know. But I don't know about you guys, I don't want to find out what it would be if it wasn't us. So I'm just trying to make sure it's us. So the bcis have to have impediments matchings that harmonize maximally with flow state, because that's what's going to be the best thing for our DNA to accurately demethylate. We can use CHABC covered in chitin and put it in nasal spray to bypass the blood-brain barrier. There's other things like look at the thing is, let's look at peak performance. Let's look at peak performance, and then let's do everything we can to maximize that for everybody. Let's figure out how we can set up systems where everybody is being put into that peak performance state. The way I see that being done is these BCIs, and we can start with local AI companions in learning situations and start helping these kids learn a different way. Give them things to learn. Give them rewards for finding new paths to the right answer. Let these kids start exploring and learning new ways to think about problems rather than trying to force fit every single kid into a fucking narrow box. We are the coolest beings. Maybe, I don't know, there's been some pretty cool ones, but we are pretty fucking awesome, and we need to start treating ourselves that way. But the strange attractors get these drives out of whack. So that 421, okay, it's like somehow hijacking that telomerase. And what happens is when you're doing all these strange attractors and you're getting distracted by the fake beauty, that's what it was. Yes. I found somewhere else how these digits relate. I can't remember right now. But the strange attractors basically go about 5 decimals in. That's how I figured it had beauty. And it was 5 decimals in. And that's as far as the unit circle in the hypersphere error detection goes. And so the decimals are enough to fool us. And if you think about it, why wouldn't it be? When else in the history of existence was something outside of us that had the right ratios to pi or phi or whatever you want to use, and they were the perfect geometrical ratio? They weren't there unless there was a reason for them, and that there was something. It wasn't lying to us unless it was a known predator, like the thing in the ocean that shines the light. Well, that's what we've created out of the algorithms of the AI, guys. And that's really terrifying, because we cannot be running around looking at strange attractors all the time, because that's what we're already doing. All those advertisements and all that stuff is being optimized, and it has been being optimized to manipulate all of us for about 50 years to maybe over 100. Really. So, wow. Because it pulls the attentions away from the body, it prevents the integration through, plus we have the inflammation. What happens is we almost end up just going with whatever it is that is happening in our environment, because we don't have the instantiated physicality for weathering resilience, which comes from that gamma hertz production, which is a result of being in flow state. And because as civilization gets bigger and bigger, the attention moves farther and farther outside of the individual, because the stuff is coming from big institutions, and everybody starts ordering their daily life not around what's happening in their environment, but in things in their head, because of what everybody has agreed on outside and things that are written on paper and all this stuff. It's just part of what has to happen, but we've got to figure out a different way to make this so that we can feel instantiated while we're still engaging in a different type of existence. And it might be that the instantaneous communication that's coming in the future is going to allow that, but we have to have a neural framework to allow for that type of communication to exist, because in order for us to communicate faster than words and faster than we currently do with all this external stuff, we have to have profiles of integrated activity in a format that can actually be communicated and then relayed across another nervous system and integrated into the BCI. And the way to do that is through this topological analysis of how the nervous system operates and figuring out how to get extra capacitance so we can be thermodynamically competitive.